Welcome to the Family Photography Marketing Podcast, where we dive into the world of marketing and help you take your business to the next level. I'm your host, Fiona, a marketing expert with 10 years of experience in the family photography industry, and in each episode of this podcast, I'll be sharing my insights and strategies for successful marketing to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of digital and traditional marketing techniques. So whether you're just starting out or looking to fine-tune your marketing approach, this podcast has something for you. So join me and let's get started. Hello everyone. Today is going to be a quick episode about giving yourself permission to step into your expertness. I've noticed this kind of confidence lacking trend in photographers that I talk to, where they're kind of in this global competition game when it comes to photography. And so when they're ranking themselves in terms of what they know and how they can help people, they're doing it against everyone else they see in the photography world. And I totally understand that. And I've said on this show a million times that if you're in growth mode yourself, you might need to put blinders on to what everyone else is doing around you, and that is perfectly fine to do. It's not about anyone else. It's just about your own brain. So this quick little episode is going to be about remembering that the business that you started only has one expert at the helm, and that person is you. And so no matter what anyone else is doing, there's no one on planet Earth who can run this business the way that you run it, who interacts with your clients the exact way that you do, who sees a location the way you do, light, edit, client closet colors, all of those things are part of your brain. And I remember a couple of years ago, it's probably like 6 years ago, and it was at a time in my career when I was very, very, very busy. I think that year I shot like 200 sessions because my prices were at that place where they were just too low and I didn't have enough boundaries and the economy was really good. And I always want to talk about the economy that way because it is definitely different this year. And I feel like not enough people are acknowledging it. And I'll go on Instagram sometime and people will be like, sometimes I will go on Instagram and people will be like, wow, my stuff just isn't getting seen. And then a lot of these marketing educators are like, well, that's just because your stuff sucks. And I'm like, well, that's not helpful because that's not even true. Because as we know, I did my experiment in November where I posted some of my best work every single day. And my views just went down and down and down until the end of the month. It was just nothing. So there is an algorithm at play. There's also consumer behavior that has changed. So anyway, that's a side note, but I was driving back from this session that was pretty far away, and I had just had an experience that has happened to me and will probably happen to you over the course of your career, where someone had taken my exact website copy, layout, and everything I said about myself and my services and published it as their own, and it was just very disheartening. So I was driving back from this session that had gone really well and it had been beautiful. I was at one of my favorite locations ever. And this Macklemore song came on. And say what you will about Macklemore, he has some good songs that pertain to artistry. And one of the lines in this song is called Excavate. And it is a really good song for just artists in general about how it is to be a creative. But one of the lines in it says, oh my God, no one can ever take my job. And that like hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh, that is so true because no one can, you can steal my website. You can take my about me copy. Anything I put out can be copied. And like, I've come to peace with it because I know that no one can actually take the person at the helm of this. And that person is me. And the person at the helm of your business is you. And incorporated into that are all of your creative visions and your personality, the way you interact with people are so tied to what your business is. So if you can find the courage to step into the place of being the expert of your business, it will help your marketing so much, because that imposter syndrome, feeling like you would love to help clients, let's say style a better way for your sessions that would work better for your locations, work better for your editing. And that's not to say that everyone has to look the same, or there's only 3 colors that work, or whatever the complaints that everyone has about styling. Although I've noticed this trend where people are like, I don't style people in my sessions, but then they do, it's like still very curated. So what it is that everyone has permission to educate their clients in any way that they want. And if I could make this is the episode of sidetracking myself. I have no notes. So I'm just a wild horse running around on the marketing plains over here. If you have a marketing strategy right now that is speaking negatively about other types of photography, I would just go switch it to a positive route. I keep seeing this. So like you guys know, probably if you know my brand, that I shoot a lot in the mountains, and I've seen people market this way where they're like, why would you ever want to climb a mountain in a dress? And it's like, cool. Well, people do want to do that. So instead of coming across that way, I get that maybe it's trying to be polarizing. It just feels very negative to me. So instead, swing the focus back to the expertness that you bring to your own sessions. And I just don't feel like that negative aspect marketing really puts a lot of good karma into the world, because there's a type of client for everybody. And that type of marketing, that type of negative marketing, feels to me like that person is still stuck very much in comparison. Because if you don't care about those type of sessions that people love to do, then you would never negatively market against them. So again, if we know who we are in our business, and that we know we are the expert, and that no one can take this from you, you own it. First of all, the fact that you get to go through life owning a creative business is amazingly rare, especially if you're a woman. So just be proud right there. That's your expertness. You're already an expert on stepping over fear. You already did something that a lot of people never will even do because it's so scary. So that is step 1 of your expertness. 2, only you know where you want the business to go. The business resides 1000% inside of your brain. So if you just decide, like, this is the thing about, I always say, one thought away, one thought away. You're just one thought away from deciding that you are the person who can educate your clients, that you are the person who can show up however you want to, that you are the person who can ask for reviews and feedback and partner with other people and try a new marketing channel. You're just one thought away. And so many times the thought that keeps you from doing those things is that you aren't educated enough, have enough experience, have your enough editing skills behind your Lightroom hours, that you don't know every feature of your camera, so you can't be the expert. In this, if you are running a business and people are paying you money, you are 1000% an expert already, because no one else is doing that business the same way that you are, and no one can. It's like that story I tell about those times where I've been at shootouts and everyone's standing on a hill, and you have the model mom in front of you and the lights coming through, and somehow everyone produces a completely different portfolio image from that, even though we're standing hip to hip. The edits are different, the connection is different, the angles are different, the light is different, the focal length is different, everything is different. So you don't have to feel, even on that hill where everything is the same, you're still the expert. You're still the one who knows best about what is going to work for your business. So that is such a interesting thought to examine if you're on the outside of it. If you feel lacking in your expertness, if you feel like you're just one class away, one shoot away, one whatever away from actually being that person. Because what I'm seeing right now is a lot of really quiet marketing. People are posting to their stories. Those stories are disappearing. And then that's it. That's all the marketing that anybody's doing. And I will be the first to say that the times, they are a-changin'. This is not 2019 or 2018 anymore. The way clients deal with our resulting images is different. Not everybody's posting on social media all the time. The way that everybody feels about social media is different. The use for these session images has changed. There's been a ton of people who've entered the job and made it about styled sessions. So that's kind of switched the perception of how we view family photography for the most part, or how other people do. I think there's a huge opening for people who feel like they don't have a family of supermodels, and where do they fit in to a brand. And you could come in and warmly scoop those people into your brand with your inclusive, happy, welcoming self. So looking for those holes as we change, as things change over to feel a different way. And I've seen the industry change a lot over the last 13 years. And I started my business in a recession, which was wonderful because it was not easy at all. At that time, nobody posted on Instagram business stuff. That was like a huge no-no. It was only your personal stuff. So every bit of marketing that I did was not including Instagram. So because I'm an ancient grandmother, I remember those times. And I know that we're probably swinging back to that, unfortunately. The people who are going to thrive on Instagram are going to be the people who are doing ads, or they're operating like influencers, where you're letting people so much into your life that your whole Instagram account is like a story. And that's a great way to do it if you want to do it that way. And that doesn't mean, I know influencer is kind of a bad word. That doesn't mean that like everyone has to know everything about your life. Like there are pockets of my life that I keep very private, and I do not consider myself an influencer-esque marketer. But if you wanted to go that route, you could tell the story of your job every day. You could tell the story of sessions you have coming up. You're inviting people into your calendar in a very personable way. So I feel like if you want to put a ton of energy into Instagram, either doing that or doing ads, that's going to be the two ways that photographers are really going to stand out. If you're not in those two buckets, I feel like you have to be okay with a lot of low views and a lot of misses and a lot of fails. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but not everyone has that bandwidth. So for my marketing students right now, we're working on what are the 3 channels. I would say the bare minimum marketing channels you need to have are 3. 1 online, 1 your website, and 1 that's in your town. So if you have no more bandwidth to give to anything, give to those 3. Pick a social media channel, focus on your website, blog a lot, and pick a marketing channel that puts you as the photography expert of the town you live in. And in all 3 of those channels, just decide that you are going to show up as the expert of X, Y, and Z photography, because you are. And going back to that song, no one can take it from you. No one can take it from you. And this is coming from someone who's had everything copied from them. And yet, I'm still here. And yet, I still have my own unique brand voice and on my own unique sessions. And people see my images and they say, I know that was yours before I even saw your name. Or I love the way you write. Or it's so fun to see this. Or I love the way that your sessions feel so happy and fun and playful. So there's room here for everyone. It is just that what's worked for the last 5 years has to probably shift unless you are marketing like an influencer. But even those people are going to hit like a wall. And those are really only for like the super social people. And that's fine if that's you, if you want to be that. But if you don't want to be that, pick 3 channels, decide you're the expert of your brand, and start coming up with strategic marketing systems around each 3 of those channels. The most important one, of course, you know what I'm going to say, is that planting your feet in your town center and being like, hello, everyone, it's me, photographer lady. Okay, this is the most random episode I've ever done. I really just freewheeled it here. But I wanted to come on. That's been kind of on the top of my mind when I talk to people, is that I can see their resistance to being the expert. And you are. So just put on your little expert coat and start talking about how you help people. All right, see you next week.